Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, if this is your first time watching one of my videos and you like the video, please do me a favor and subscribe. I really appreciate it. Today we're going to be talking about the Cybertruck, the Tesla Cybertruck. I've been really wanting to make a video about the Cybertruck since the first release of it, the big announcement, the big show they did in LA where they threw the ball through the window and all the stuff happened. I was glued to the TV when the release happened. I've been glued to YouTube watching other people's videos, but I haven't had the time to sit down and collect my thoughts and make a video about it just because I do own a computer company. We sell stuff on the internet, and it was Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It's like literally been the last 2 weeks and 3 weeks, whatever you want to call it, really the last month. Craziest time of the entire year for me and my business, and it's kind of like a make or break type of thing going on for that time of year. Make sure you stock up a lot of inventory and then cross your fingers that the stuff sells. So anyway, I'm kind of like through the weeds or whatever, through the hard part of that, and now I can just take a deep breath and relax a little more. Still have to go to work, just not as much. And I've got some time to make some of these videos about Cybertrucks. So this is my first Cybertruck video, as I just mentioned. I do have a lot of other ideas of things I want to talk about specifically with the Cybertruck in mind. This video is just about the Cybertruck, why I want to buy it, and why I'm going to be considering getting rid of my current truck to make room for the Cybertruck. The other things that I probably will want to talk about is just comparing the Cybertruck with other trucks that are currently on the market. And there's also, I'd really want to make a video about some reasons why I think people are going to end up wanting the Cybertruck for things that maybe you haven't thought about in the past, or that maybe the other YouTubers haven't talked about really either. And maybe for a reason that it might actually make you go from, I think it's a dumb idea, to, oh, actually I could see myself needing that or wanting that. In any case, let's kind of get more into the real content here, which is why did I give Tesla the $100 as a deposit to get the Cybertruck, and so I'm gonna go over like a top 10 reasons why I want the Cybertruck that I'm putting my deposit down, and specifically I put the deposit down on the 500-mile range triple motor version, and I'll be replacing my current 2018 F-150 Raptor Super Crew with that Cybertruck once it comes out in a couple years. At least that's what I think at the moment, based on everything the information at hand, and basically also with like my current financial situation and things like that. You never know, like something really bad could happen a couple years from now, and maybe I'd even have to get rid of my current truck and sell my house, and all sorts of bad things can happen, right? So anyway, why don't I give you guys a quick little, I've got this little, I walked outside, it's super rainy outside or gloomy, but I've got this quick little 20-second video of a walk around on my truck. So I'll share that real quick here. And as you can see, it's my company vehicle, computer headquarters wrap on it and stuff, which is kind of what you're supposed to do. If you have a company truck, you're supposed to get basically a large advertisement on it. That's what I was told by my tax guy, to make sure that it's represented as a company vehicle, not a personal vehicle. So in any case, so I really use it as my Raptor it's a truck, and I use it as a truck, and it has all these extra off-road features that are amazing, and I have taken it off-road. I wish I had more time to take it off-road more, but it's just an insane amount of off-road features, and unfortunately, I really don't get my money's worth of all those off-road features, but I love how the car looks, and I love how it drives, and I love the power. So let's jump into the my little, I know this is super corny, guys, but I just thought it would look the best. I have a little slideshow thing I've got prepared here to show you guys the top five, my top 10 reasons, and then also some reasons why I may end up changing my mind and keep the Raptor. So here we go. All right, first off, we've got a little disclaimer for you guys. I'm just going to read this to you. A lot of the reasoning behind the information I give during this video is based on assumptions from previous Tesla vehicles, the S, the 3, and the X, as well as the information Tesla has shared with the public about the Cybertruck based on their concept slash prototype. As many of you know, the Cybertruck shared on stage a few weeks ago is not a finished product because it did not have windshield wipers or side view mirrors, and the Cybertruck has not yet been approved by the NHTSA for public use. Many people have shared on the internet that they do not think that the Cybertruck will end up looking like the prototype, and for the record, I disagree. I think it will look exactly like the prototype and will have windshield wipers and side view mirrors added. All right, so reason number one that I would like to get the Cybertruck is performance. As I already mentioned, I like the triple motor version, the 500-mile range. 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds is insane. It's literally exactly what I have a 2019 GT3 RS, and I believe it's literally exactly the same. Now, my GT3 RS is also a track car. It's not designed for straight line performance, but 2.9 seconds is really fast. So in a truck, I would love to feel that in a truck. I feel like it would just be such a weird feeling being in such a big vehicle, being so high up in the air, and then still accelerating so fast. But I'm a sports car guy. I'm not a truck guy. And right there, that's why I want to start with that as my number one thing. I've never owned a truck before my Raptor. That was my first truck. I love the truck, but I'm not a truck guy. If you're a truck guy, you may be really pissed off with a lot of the things I'm saying, and that's totally fine. You've had trucks your whole life, and you've never had a sports car, and you think I'm an idiot for being a sports car guy, and your opinion is welcome. So, feel free to talk to me about that in the comments if you want to. All right, number two, safety. I do have kids. My truck, my Raptor, is my company car. My kids don't go in it very often because it's a company car. But from time to time, of course, we need to go somewhere that might need four-wheel drive or whatever, like something on the weekend. Once in a blue moon, maybe we want to go up to the mountains, something like that, whatever. Maybe I need to pick them up from daycare once in a while because my wife is stuck in traffic or something came up, right? So safety wise, I do think about that stuff because not only am I in the truck, my kids might be in the truck, my wife might be in the truck, my employees might be in the truck with me going somewhere to run some errands for work stuff. And if we were to get into an accident, obviously I don't want anyone getting hurt. So I do take safety seriously, and this is why I had the disclaimer about assumptions. No one knows what the safety rating is going to be on the Cybertruck, but the assumption is that Tesla has the best safety rated vehicles ever in the history of automobile. So if all of Tesla's previous vehicles have been rated so high, why would the Cybertruck not be rated so high? Also, keep in mind, the F-150 is already a 5-star, 5 out of 5 stars, crash tested, vehicle. It's really safe. So Cybertruck knows hey, we're all about safety at Tesla, and then we're going to be competing with the F-150 as our main competitor. I'm making an assumption. It's going to be a safe car in my opinion, and I think that's important. Now you might be saying, well, why did you say it? If the F-150 is already a 5, then why does this matter? Why is this your second bullet point? Well, basically in the past, the testing people that do the crash testing stuff have basically said that the Tesla vehicles, they should kind of be like a 6 out of 5. If there was if they could go higher, it would get a higher score than the other cars. So anyway, I won't get into that too much. Sorry, I don't want to make this video too long. But next thing, maintenance and cost. So my wife owned a Model S. She bought it in 2013, and she had it for 5 years. She just got rid of it recently, and over the 5 years, she put over 100,000 miles on it. She's driving a lot, and there was I think she spent maybe $2,000 on it over the 5 years for just fixing door handles and things like little issues that weren't even super important, but a lot of the stuff gets covered under warranty for free. They do put a really big warranty on the battery. It's like 100,000 miles of warranty. I think 10 years for the battery itself, and a lot of the other things have kind of more like a standard warranty. I'm not going to go look it up right now. It's like 3 years or 4 years, kind of the typical, most similar as other cars. But the batteries have that huge warranty, and that's what's important, in my opinion. But so compared to you might be saying, well, how much have you spent on your truck? I've only had my truck for 2 years, so I haven't spent any money on it. It's under warranty. I also bought an extended warranty plan on it, so but I paid money for that. In any case, I have had problems with my Raptor. And one of my really good friends just got a 2019 Raptor, just like mine, Super Crew, white color, blah, blah, blah. almost all the same options. His has already been lemon lawed. Had so many problems. I think over the 2 month period that he owned it, it had been in the shop for 6 weeks out of the 8 weeks or something like that. And I believe he ended up having to get another one already. So anyway, let's continue. Bigger bed and storage. So the CyberTruck has a foot longer bed, and seriously, guys, you might be thinking this sounds funny. I've had so many instances where I've filled up my entire truck bed for work related stuff. Whether that was just a couple weeks ago, we filled up the truck bed to take stuff over to the FedEx because we sold so many boxes that they weren't all ready to be picked up by the FedEx truck when it showed up at 4 o'clock at our warehouse. We had to continue packing and shipping stuff after 4 o'clock, and we had to make runs to the FedEx warehouse to drop stuff off. So I literally filled up the entire truck bed, and then we had to fill up another one of my employees, his entire SUV with more boxes. If I would have had a bigger truck bed, though, I could have fit probably everything in it. I think the extra foot would have made a big difference. I've also transported equipment from, suppliers and stuff up in Los Angeles. I drove up there to pick equipment up, and I've had times where it didn't all fit into my truck bed, and I had to do multiple trips or ship some things separately to get it all to my warehouse. And so it does matter, especially like if you're fitting a whole pallet into the truck bed, and then you have extra stuff that needs to fit in behind it. It does matter, and sometimes you have to leave the tailgate open. But if you're going on the freeway, things just get a little bit dicey. Anyway, the bigger bed's would be great. And the storage would also be really nice. I don't know if everyone knows this, but let's see if my mouse should show up over here. This winglet thing, whatever they call it, this triangle, is actually a storage compartment on both sides. This thing pops open. You can kind of see the line right there, but that's going to pop open, as well as there's a storage thing inside of the truck bed that flips open, and there's another storage thing under the rear seats, and there's the frunk. There's just tons of storage space on the CyberTruck, and I will use it. I really will. Okay, so let's take a look at the next thing. Okay, range, 500-mile range on the triple motor version is insane. It's so good. They're also saying that there's a good chance there's going to be a solar panel option for the rear bed, like the tonneau cover over the truck bed. And if that were the case, that would be like a lifesaver for me, because then I currently park my Raptor outside. Because my garage doesn't really fit it very well, and I have a GT3 RS that gets the spot. So my wife has her car, and we only have 2 spots in the garage. The truck it's outside, or it's at my warehouse, parked at the warehouse, so it's always outside. I don't drive very far on a regular basis. I do some long trips a lot often, but I also do a lot of shorter trips, like going to Home Depot and stuff like that. If I were able to have the solar charging on top of the car, I don't think I'd ever need to plug it in, really. So that I only drive like 6,000 miles a year with the truck. So yeah, the solar power thing would be great, and having a huge range on it would be great too, because I do go up to LA when I do longer trips, and I would be able to go there and back, and then have usually enough time to recharge it, probably with the solar, or plug it into a wall somewhere if I need to. But 500 miles is just nuts. So I also wanted to, let's see, is this? Yeah. I also want to bring up the fact that here in California, every Tesla that's ever been released has gotten a special sticker that lets you go into the carpool lane. It's like HOV sticker. That's a really big deal too. So if I'm driving up to LA by myself to pick up some equipment for work, I'm going to be able to get the carpool lane, which can save sometimes an hour because of traffic, of travel time. So anyway, let's move on to the next thing, which is more technology. So this is going to get a little bit wishy-washy, because the next two bullet points are going to be related to technology, but this is more specifically like the littler things. So I'll start with just the stuff in the truck bed. There's going to be a charger in the back, so that if you were to have some sort of a device that does need to be charged like that ATV, but that's not the only thing. There's tons of other stuff you may need to charge at some point, or just use for power as a power outlet. There's a 220 in the back, which is crazy. I do have a power outlet in my Raptor. It's definitely not a 220. It also has an air compressor built into the truck bed, which is insane. That's pretty cool to have. So again, if you have an ATV, you might have dirt bikes or something like that. If you need to air up some tires or something along that, or if you go off-roading with your friends and someone has a problem and needs to air up a tire for some reason, you've got air right there with a built-in air compressor. Now, also, you're gonna have a lot more technology in the cabin. Now, I have the 2018 Raptor, and there is a lot of really cool technology, especially for off-roading. So I think you could make the argument that if you're an off-road only type of guy, that there's less technology maybe on the Cybertruck for what you want. For me, not doing very much off-roading, the Cybertruck's going to be, I think, a really good off-roader as well. But we don't really know all the features of what off-roading options it's going to have or the capabilities. We just know it has huge tires and huge clearance, which is going to be nice. But as far as the technology goes, you've got like the Netflix thing, you've got like a dog mode, and I have a dog, but there's the dog mode, so it keeps the air conditioner running in the car. There is all the cameras they do, Sentry mode, where if someone messes with your car, it sends pictures. It has all this stored data of video around your car. It has all the a lot of the similar lane assists and detection of cars around you. Of course, it's going to have all that other stuff too, and the Raptor has a lot of that stuff too. But there's going to be, in my opinion, there's more stuff on the Cybertruck. So next point here is the autopilot. I've personally never been able to use autopilot. I've only been able to watch videos of people on YouTube that were using it, and everyone seems to love it. So I'm kind of just throwing that out there. There's definitely no autopilot on my Raptor, and there have been many times where I wish I did have autopilot, whether it's because I'm needing to, maybe do some business related something on my phone. I know, whatever it was, if I didn't have to worry about paying attention to the road for even just a couple minutes, there'd be a lot of times where I would do that if I could. Especially, like I said, I drive up to LA to do a lot of business related stuff, and it's just kind of mindless driving on the freeway a lot of the time. So anyway, we'll move on from autopilot to self-driving. So self-driving is a $7,000 option for the Cybertruck, and I did check that box because I think that would be pretty amazing. My understanding is that in the future, if you have self-driving, once it gets approved by the probably the NHTSA, you should be able to send your truck on like errands and stuff. So for instance, if I'm like, hey, man, we ran out of such and such supply at my warehouse for work. Oh, send the truck off. There'll be services set up like that so that you can just do pickups, and like your car will show up to like Home Depot, and they'll like load your truck bed up, and your truck will just drive back. You don't even need to. That means that it's less time that I'm away from my desk or from my warehouse to where I'm actually doing work that's making me money. The truck could help me make basically more money, or it depends on it's all time, right? So I can either spend less time at work and have more time with my family, which is very valuable to me, or I could be at my desk more, which usually the time at my desk is what helps me generate money, right? So it could make me more money by having that, or more time with my family. Both important to me. So I'm really looking forward to that self-driving thing for a variety of reasons, So next one is the big one, more seating. So more seating, it's only by one seat. So, five seats in my Raptor, 6 seats in the Tesla. There have been many times where I would have used 6 seats. There's been so many times where whether it's because I had left the car seats in my truck because I had moved my kids somewhere or picked them up from school at one point. Again, I mentioned earlier I don't do that very much, but I have just left the seats in there for long periods of time. And it's like, I've only got the front seat and the one middle seat in the back. We can move the car seats, but it's kind of annoying. Or I took the car seats out more often. There's no car seats at all, and we filled up. I have more than 4 employees that work for me. So there have been many times where there were more than 4 people that wanted to come, and even one more seat would have been really nice. It will be interesting to see if they make another version that has 2 seats in the truck bed, or if they make basically the same version, like a Cybertruck, but it's an SUV, but it's like kind of like more like a Suburban or Expedition type of thing. I feel like that will happen eventually, and I feel like a lot of people would like that. Anyway, so more seating, and then the styling. So I'm probably like one of the only people I've ever heard that thinks that it looks cool. I really like it. I as soon as it rolled, usually everyone says the same thing. As soon as I saw it roll up on the stage, I thought it was a joke. I didn't think it was a joke. I mean, I had been reading a lot of the stuff that Elon had been saying on tweets and stuff for months or whatever, a year, and he kept saying it's going to look Blade Runner, it's going to be crazy, it's going to be futuristic, it's going to be like nothing you've ever seen, blah, 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 blah. And then the thing rolls up and it's everything he said, and then people are like, there's no way this is really it. Of course it's really it. That's why he said all that stuff. Anyway, I know there have been a lot of people that think like the triangle roof thing looks terrible. I think it looks cool. Um, Also, something about I've heard people say that the reason why that it has such that like triangular roof angle is also because of the machine that they have to build the exoskeleton frame with the stainless steel, whatever, the 30X, all that stuff. Apparently, if they changed the shape differently than that, it would break the machine. That's the rumor. I don't know if that's true, but and I'm cool with all that stuff. I think that the huge clearance is awesome. Um, I don't like the rims, but a lot of people are saying that those are just covers over the wheels, and those are going to be popped off, and they're not. They're kind of like keeping it a secret what the wheels will look like. I don't know if that's true. That's another. A lot of this stuff is rumors, but overall, I actually really like how it looks. I think it's really functional, and I don't really care that it looks crazy. I think that for me, it's a truck, and it's like tool for me, and I'm not. If you watch any of my other videos, I mentioned earlier like 2 times that I have a GT3 RS. I purposely didn't get a Lamborghini or Ferrari at this time in my life because I thought it was a little bit too flashy for me right now. I don't think this truck is as crazy as everyone says it is. Yeah, people are going to stare at it for a little while, but when my wife got her Model S, people were staring at her in that too. So I don't know. Maybe that wasn't a good comparison. But in any way, I like it, and I don't really care what people think about that, what it looks like. But I think that functionally it's great. So and I like how it looks. All right, let's move on to why I may end up keeping my Raptor. Bigger cabin and bigger seats, basically. So I have no idea. I've never been in the Cybertruck yet. A lot of people have, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, yeah, it's really spacious in here. There's so much room and all blah blah blah." I don't know if these people are like Tesla people. I don't know if that makes sense, but some of these people that are saying that have probably only been driving Teslas lately. And I've driven as I mentioned, my wife had the S, and I've driven that. We went and looked at the X and test drove it, and in my opinion, those things are small. The interior in the S, for being like the luxury, like ultra high end version of their sedans or whatever, it's the back seat is terrible. I drove my friends to lunch a lot when I would borrow it sometimes and take it to work, and my friends in the back seats were like, there's barely any room back there. And when we put our kids in the car seats in the back in her S, there was barely, or kicking our seats all the time, they barely had any room. I had to have, if I was sitting in the front seat and my wife was driving, I had to move the seat so far forward that my knees were hitting into the dashboard. So I personally think there was really terrible interior space on the Model S, and the 3 can only be worse. And the X was just as bad as the S because of the way they configured the third row stuff. So I'm not very happy with any of those. However, this is a much bigger car, so I'm hoping that the Cybertruck has more space between the rear bench and the front bench, so that your knees won't be hitting into the front bench. I'm also hoping that the seats are kind of like a little bit wider maybe than the other Tesla car seats, because the Raptor seats are ridiculously huge. I mean, 5 grown men can easily fit into the Raptor, no problem. The back seat, they're huge. You can fit 3 car seats in the back seats if you want to on the back bench. So anyway, moving on. I've looked this up, and to my understanding, none of the Teslas have a cooled seat option in any of the Teslas. The X, the S, and the 3, and I think even the Y coming out. They don't say anything about having cooled seats. My Raptor does have cool seats. I use them almost every day. I love it. Never had a car with cooled seats before. It's the first car I've owned with it, and I use it literally almost every single day. So, yeah, I'm gonna if I get a Cybertruck and it doesn't have that, I'm gonna miss it. But it's not really a deal breaker either. But putting that as one more thing with some other reasons could be a reason why I don't get a Cybertruck. Garage charging cost and impossibility. Sorry, this is worded bad. My bad. So I'll explain this. Garage charging cost. So the cost of putting a charger into my garage. We already have one, but we'd have to get another one because my wife has an electric car right now. So she has a hybrid type of car. So, but anyway, she charges her Volvo, and I would need a very dedicated charger for a truck. But also, when I say possibility as in, is there going to be a spot in the garage for the truck? So this is multifaceted here with the possibility part. Will the Cybertruck fit into my garage in the first place? I'm not sure. I've fit my Raptor into my garage before, and it was very tight. The Cybertruck looks like it might be bigger. So if it's bigger, it might not fit in the first place. And then if it does, again, the possibility thing is like, do I need to get like a whole nother? I feel like we ran out of spots for charging stuff on our panel for our house. So I feel like we might have, it might, who knows how, if it costs $10,000 to put a charger in our house because of cutting through walls and adding panels and all this other stuff, I don't know if I'm going to want to do it. I probably would be more likely to look into how much it would cost to put a charger at my work. So, and then also, if I'm parking the Cybertruck in my garage, that's going to assume that my GT3 RS is not here anymore. And I'm probably going to be selling it soon. So, but I'm also planning on replacing with some other stuff. So anyway, I'm kind of rambling here, but I feel like the whole charging thing could become an issue for me. Figuring out where is going to be my prime charging spot. If there is the solar tonneau roof thing or tonneau cover, that would kind of be a lifesaver for me. So I would definitely get that if it becomes an option. And then the sound, excuse me, I need a drink here. So the sound of the Raptor, a lot of people got really mad that the Raptor got the V6 EcoBoost motor, the twin turbo. I'm kind of a big fan of turbos personally. I've had a lot of turboed sports cars. I'm a huge fan of how turbos sound. Big fan of how the Raptor, the twin turbo Raptor V6 sounds. And I think the exhaust from the factory sounds really good. I don't have an aftermarket intake or exhaust at the moment because it's a work car. But it sounds really good. It has a nice burly sound to it, and it's pretty quick for a huge truck. So I do love how it sounds, especially when you get on it. And I can imagine myself definitely missing that sound. However, I have 3 sports cars in addition to this truck, so I get a lot of really nice sounds out of the sports cars, and I don't really need my truck to sound cool. So these are kind of like really minor reasons why I would want to keep the Raptor. They're not good enough for me to keep it. So, there's a lot of good reasons to get the Cybertruck. There's not really that many great reasons to keep the Raptor and not get the Cybertruck. So I want to get the Cybertruck. Anyway, thanks for your time, everyone. Like I said earlier at the beginning, if you like the content, if you like this information as someone like a Raptor owner, approaching the Cybertruck, if you like hearing about that kind of stuff, if you want to hear more Cybertruck related stuff, consider subscribing and liking my video to show that you want me to, continue making content. So anyway, thanks for your time, everyone, and I'll see you in the next one.